Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Millenbond. I'm the Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources. It's my distinct pleasure to be able to recognize Keith Creagh with the Distinguished Service Award today. Mr. Creagh's experience working with both farmers and natural resources managers in the state of Michigan make him an ideal candidate for this award. His responsiveness and collective nature during crisis situations have positioned him to be a thought leader in the state. Keith understands that relationships are what matter and that leading through difficult situations means relying on those relationships. He has served our students as both a lecturer and a mentor.
Hi, I'm Ed Golder, and I nominated Keith Creagh for the Distinguished Service Award. Well, Keith is a very innovative thinker. He's one of those people who is always looking for connections outside the silo. In fact, he revels in breaking down silos. In addition, he's a very detailed thinker, so he knows our policy and our science in very close detail. And he's also somebody who knows the limits of his own knowledge and is able to pass it off to the experts. But his real genius is around relationships. He's able to build relationships and gather people in a room and have them work together toward a common goal and the common good. The last thing I'd say about Keith is about character. When the Flint water crisis happened, the governor picked up the phone and called Keith Creagh to help lead the state through those first critical weeks and months of that crisis. And he did a great job getting people in the room and putting a structure around moving the Flint water system back toward a viable system. And that was no easy task. In every walk of life, there are people who see a problem and run toward the problem while they're rolling up their sleeves, and Keith's one of those people.
Thank you. Thanks. So settle back. You got a bureaucrat, and you got a half-hour PowerPoint. So just a couple real short comments. First, as everyone said at the podium, I'm humbled and honored to be here. I really appreciate the recognition, but what I haven't really heard is what Michigan State really gives to this state. And what you give is leadership and mentorship and quality of life. And you heard Jordy Tatter's name, and you heard Don Nugent's name, and you heard Gordon Geyer's, should have heard his name. And it was really Gordon that taught me about partnerships. And you all hear Gordon talking about partners, but what he really meant to say was know your blind spots. And so my first call, if it was a fruit problem, was Jim Nugent. Right? Jim, what do you think? Alan, what do you think? What's going to happen? Noel, what's the impact? And it was really that power of the partnership that allowed us to be successful. And you could go back to Bob Gast, and Doug's here in the room, and Ian Gray, and all those great minds that this university has. And in addition to the great minds is solving today's problems with tomorrow in sight. I see my good friend Jim Flory here. Great guy, right? If there's a fruit grower, they'd ask Jim. And as I go around the room, of course, I'll get in trouble, whether it's John or Ben or Phil. But the diversity of Michigan's agriculture is its strength. But it's also the strength that builds us for tomorrow. And I've just been a very small part of it. I've had great teams. I've had at agriculture, I've had great directors like Dan Wyant. At natural resources, I've had great people around me, as you could talk about Bill Moritz and Tammy Newcomb and Ed Golder and Bill O'Neill. And it was really a successful team. So I had a very small role to play, and I say thank you on behalf of those that work hard day in and day out. Thanks.